Okay. Teacher Mark Oki, group number 6. Topic is admiration and attention for 45 minutes. Good afternoon, class. How are you today? Okay. I'm taking attendance today. This actually helps your teacher to memorize names a little bit better, so going back to fundamentals, okay? If I have the wrong class, please let me know. Hong, number 1. Hong, number 1. Okay, good. Ryan, number 2. Good. Nick, number 3. Boom, 4. Posted. Not absent today. Okay. Pancake. Toilet. Good. Boop. Good. Fury. Good. Jenny. Jenny. Okay, thank you. Jen D. Jen D. Okay. Moon. Okay, sorry. Tremble. Nun. N-U-N. Number 13. Okay. Pam. Rio. Prim. Okay. Tab. Earn. 19. Proud. 20. Ink. 21. Pal. Okay. 22. Effie. 23. Lady. Nadi. Sorry. 24. Ume. Sorry. 25. Quan. Okay, thank you. 26. Tim. Tim. 27. Plank. 28. Bula. 29. Lola. 30. Maury. 31. Blake. 32. Dove. 32. Dove. Dove, sorry. Alright. 33. Nahum. Okay. 34. Pearl. Alright. 35. Nambu. 35. Nambu. Okay. And 36. Dean. Okay. So only one person absent. Alright, so briefly, we're going to review for the test because the midterm test is coming up on the 18th, and tomorrow I won't have a chance to talk to you, okay? Unit 1, what makes a person admirable? And Unit 2, how do marketers maintain our attention? They seem like a world apart, but are there any similarities? What makes a person admirable, and how do marketers keep our attention? So why don't we start with the beginning part? What makes a person admirable? What are the traits? send us line messages and try to call us up and we don't pick up the phone. Okay, they're on social media. Okay, yeah, it's related to ads. Good. Posters, okay. Very good, posters. Anything else comes to mind when we talk about marketers? How do they maintain our attention? Billboards, good. Promotions are good, right? Okay, price. A lot of discounts. When I was shopping for an iPad, I got a whole bunch of advertisements for my citizen that I don't understand. Yeah, the discounts are not discounts. They're not real discounts. I'm like, what do you mean they're not real discounts? Those teacher, you don't read time, but they're not. You're not going to get a bargain by trying to buy an iPad from someone online or line messenger. And I go, but I saw the number and they go, but that's not the price. There's some other added prices. And I go, oh, well then that's not good. So maybe not the best solution, but I ended up buying it at Orchardtown from a second-hand place. I too don't need a brand new iPad. Just need one to scribble some notes, to communicate with you. That's the only purpose. Okay? I haven't really bought it for games or anything else, but oh, that's not good. All right. Like, what was that? Okay. Your teacher is not, yeah, mentally here, but okay. Are there any similarities? Can you? It's not actually a reach because there is some correlation, or these two units 1 and units 2 talk about behavioral science and psychology. Okay. So this is early learning, and this is when you're an adult, so when you're a teacher trying to okay? I somehow have to emulate these traits to you to get you to trust me to sell the information from the book. Okay? If you don't trust me, then you won't listen to me. You'll just do whatever you want to do. Alright? So I'm doing my best as a marketer of a book of information to get it to stick with you, but yeah, I as a professional am doing my job the best that I can. Okay? So that's what it's kind of doing, is trying to train you that maybe marketing might not be a great job, but it's still a job. Okay? And our parents, your parents, as well as myself, we do the best job that we can. And when we don't do a great job, then we try again. Okay? We make improvements. Try to make improvements. Previous year for the exam, we said make it doubly as hard for your class. And I said, well, I didn't make it doubly as hard. Okay? So that's my choice. All right. So just something to think about. We're talking about we're only being tested on units 1 and 2. questions about uniforms? Okay. Weird, I saw you yesterday wearing the same uniform. Not really sure what's the big problem. Be comfortable, to stay warm so you don't get sick. Okay? There's more than just the uniform. There's more than just the uniform, but sorry. Just have to deal with it for this year. Bureaucracy. Authenticity and trust are important. So these how we build relationships with our friends, and it carries over to try to convince our customers that your teacher has something important to say. Okay? So that's why I have at least a couple of people listening. Just a couple, and that's all that matters. Any questions about the midterm before I start? There's 30 questions. I believe there's 15 vocabulary. I gave you those 2 terms. 15 vocabulary, 10 for restrictive relative clauses, as well as another 5 for definitive and indefinite articles, so total of 10 for grammar, and 5 for a short story. Short story is going to be related to marketers, okay? And it's just 2 paragraphs. A little bit wordy, but then I think you guys can handle it. Okay. Referring specifically about a company, how do they try to convince you to buy their products? All right. Well, section 1 talks about vocabulary. What are achievements, class? What are achievements? Okay, you receive. There are things you receive for completing goals. So whether it be a game or here at school, there are certificates. Look at this. You guys have enough sugar today? Yeah? Okay. Achievements are things that are done successfully with effort, with courage, and skill. Okay? Completing your high school diploma, at least you finished it. There are small things for other people, but it makes a big difference for us. An advocate. An advocate is a person who publicly supports individuals. So when the time is necessary and you need a letter of recommendation, you can ask Teacher Marlene, your homeroom teacher, or myself for a letter of recommendation. Authenticity. Just to be real or genuine. Okay, that's why I poke my head in a KFC when students are eating. Okay. Or students are having fun. This is always a diverse group of students, and /16, so 516 and 616. I have 2 diverse groups of students here, not the same. Not the same. Okay. Maybe some of the basic traits you might have, but very different. Humility, or this is the quality of being modest, or seeing the importance in other people's values. Humility. So, parents look after their kids, place their kids as number 1, and so we tolerate a lot quantity. Not having the most number of friends would have the most influence. Right? I didn't realize that until, not everybody wanted to be my friend. So, quality, just having a few was probably the better decision. So, over a span of 30 years, you try to have quality friends that you like to hang out with versus somebody that's going to blatantly say something negative about you and you're like, oh, we were friends. Alright, so select your friends wisely. To align. A-L-I-N-G is a verb or to place things into straight lines. Teachers try to give you examples to prepare you for the exam so you're properly aligned with expectations. So there's no surprises for tomorrow. Distinct. Nouns. Distinct. What's the definition? Oh my gosh. Distinct. So what's the difference between you and your sister? Yeah. Same? Oh. Well no, you have her iPad now and she has a different one. Yeah, so you have her old one and she bought a new one. But oh my gosh, let's go to see the directory. What's this thing used for? Yeah, no, this, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's a knife. Knife. Don't bring the knife to the school. What is it? What? Keys for drawing angles. Okay, so not a weapon. Okay. Well, that's your teacher's way of gaining insight. Sometimes you have to joke and make some fun of things, but insight is the capacity to gain or find a better understanding of someone or something. So, my job is to troubleshoot. Okay, my job is not to memorize. Well, why are you guys memorizing? I don't know why, but 30 years ago we were doing the same thing, memorization. And I said, well, why, when I get out to the real world, I have to figure out my bills. I have to figure out what I'm doing. I have to do a lot of troubleshooting. So I'm not so concerned about the book work. Well, some jobs needed. So some jobs, whether you become a doctor or what's the word? Optometrist. So if you're looking at eyes, you have to do a lot of memorization. Pharmaceuticals, you have to do a lot of memorization also. So sometimes it does come into play, but in teaching, sometimes your teacher just has to go by a template because a lesson will change the next day. And if I have to teach this again, I will be teaching you or somebody at Union Mall and trying to get their ear and teaching the same thing to see if I can make some improvements. All right. So the vocabulary, A, B, C, D, distinct answers. There's no ambiguous answers, meaning there should be only one answer that is correct. All right? Teacher's not trying to trick you. Choose the best answer. Choose the best answer. Section 2 is grammar. So the first part are restrictive relative clauses, and the second part are definite and indefinite articles. Restrictive relative clauses are words like who, which, that, and whose. I believe that's page like 26 or 27. Okay. A restrictive relative clause gives essential information about a noun. It tells us which person or thing we're talking about, and we can't remove it without changing the meaning of the sentence. We oftentimes use who, which, that, or whose. For example, take a look at the board. A person who demonstrates humility is often admired. Your teacher prefers admirable. We use who. Okay. When do we use whom? When do we use whom? Whom is used when used in a formal situation. What else? We use whom in a formal situation. Anything else? Whom? We use whom? Whom instead of who? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, when we're referring to a group of people, but we don't know exactly who, but when we're writing to the university, to the faculty, we don't know quite exactly the person missed him, but the group of girls to whom it may concern. Okay? Yeah. Be kind. Okay? Be kind. Alright? Whom? We use that in typically formal situation. How about the opposite? That. That. That is very common. We use that in most situations. Okay. A couple days ago, we talked about, I saw a dog in the park. Okay. The dog was chasing a ball. And we clarified when to use the. But sometimes we can say that dog, that cat, that person. That is used, sometimes it's used interchangeably between people and things. So people or nouns is fine. Taking a look at page, I believe, 56 or 57. Definite and indefinite articles using a, and, the, and no article. Okay. And sometimes used when talking about something generally or one of many. The is definite, used when we're talking about something specific or something that is already mentioned. The sentence, marketers try to gain blank insights. We use let's talk about these things specifically. We use A when we're looking for certain sounds. Sounds like a bat, a house, a cat, a car, a pig. And we use it with a A-E-I-O-U or a vowel sound. So this one probably don't use A. So no article. Okay? Marketers try to gain insights, so it's already known, but into. So going back here, would it be either, I'll give you a hint. We have three choices, A, the, or none. Okay, yeah, the customer's mind. Oh, what did you say? None. Okay. Well, we pulled what we say, yeah. I want to say we use the, as it says here, is definite, used when we're talking about something specific. So the customer or the client in this case, you are my customers. Okay, the students. And I want to say students. Students are going to lunch. Okay? Can you try to complete my sentence? What did you have for lunch today? What did you have for lunch today? I had a chicken. I mean, that applies. You had the whole chicken. Okay. All right. So, originally we said I had a chicken for lunch. So that implies that I had the whole chicken. Americans, we introduce this word some. Some. Not a lot, but if I ask him for a sip of water, this is probably enough for me to feel okay. Some. Not a lot. I don't need the whole bottle, but some. Alright? But I think most people say I had chicken for lunch. I had chicken for lunch. Okay? You might hear some Americans say I had some chicken, but I had chicken for lunch. Hey, what did you have for lunch today? I had green curry for lunch today. Good. Give it a try? Yeah. I had noodles. Okay, good. Yeah. I had what? Noodles also? Okay, good. You'll get better at this by just using it, okay? Just using it. Don't feel sad or shy. That's the way that I had to learn too, was just to use it. Okay, and the last section is talking about how do marketers get our attention. So the third section is a 2-paragraph excerpt about a specific company. Okay? How do they convince you to buy their products? How do they convince you to buy their products? Price? Quality? They're pretty good at advertising. Some of the kids wear the t-shirts or the sweatshirts. Okay? So, good luck on the test tomorrow as well as next week at the end. It's not going to be too difficult, like I had said, it's the same as it was prior year. So question 12 is letter A, question 15 are B or C. D or C is correct. All right, any questions? All right.